Mrs. Smith was locked in the boiler room, pounding desperately on the metal door. I deliberately turned away and went home to cook dinner. My indifference stemmed from bitter experience. In my previous life, I'd rushed to save her by borrowing a bicycle to drag James back from his motel tryst with his mistress Sophia. Though he'd unlocked the door to rescue his mother, Sophia later committed suicide from shame. They all blamed me. James accused me of public humiliation driving her to death. Mrs. Smith claimed I'd orchestrated the whole scene. Even my own brother Michael called me scheming. The three of them later burned me alive in that same boiler room as revenge. Now reborn to the sound of her hoarse screams, I walked away without hesitation. Lily, how can you cook while your mother-in-law's dying? The deputy director's shout made me drop my spatula. I grabbed my coat and followed the crowd, listening to their frantic descriptions of Mrs. Smith's predicament while hiding my smile. I knew exactly how the heat was blistering her skin. I'd timed my rebirth perfectly. Never again would I sacrifice myself for these heartless creatures. Last time she'd accused me of locking her in despite being her rescuer, claiming I'd fabricated James and Sophia's affair. If her precious son's reputation mattered more than her life, let her roast. We arrived at the boiler room to hear her rasping curses. Where's that useless Lily? Can't she hurry up? I collapsed dramatically before the door, tears streaming. Mother, hold on. Stop your fake crying and open this damn door. She croaked. Worthless sow. Should have never let James marry trash like you. Workers shifted uncomfortably. Just open it. Lily. I don't have the key. I sniffled. James took all the factory keys when he left with Sophia this morning. Has anyone seen them? The crowd exchanged knowing looks. Everyone knew James, our factory director, had been sleeping with Sophia, the new accountant. Their urgent town business was obvious. Mrs. Smith exploded into wheezing curses. Lying slut. My son would never. You must have driven poor Sophia to this. The workers' sympathy visibly shifted to me. Someone muttered. I saw Director Smith and Miss Brown in his office last week. I pressed my hands against the scorching metal door, savoring the heat. Let the whole town witness the Smith family's corruption burn. Their affair was no secret. Who in the factory hadn't witnessed it? The deputy director frowned thoughtfully. Ahem. Let's not spread rumors. Lily, since it's your mother-in-law trapped inside, go fetch James from town with the keys. I calculated the timing, then gritted my teeth and lifted my blouse to reveal layers of scars. Deputy director. I'd go, but I'm terrified. James threatened to beat me to death if I disturbed him and Sophia. My loud sobs coincided with the arrival of solemn-faced officials. Internally triumphant, I cried harder. Last life. James became a hero rescuing his mother before the Commerce Bureau director and model worker. Now those same officials stared at my wounds, veins throbbing at their temples. Comrade Johnson. Did James do this? As I tearfully nodded. Mrs. Smith's screech came through the door. Don't listen to that lying whore. My boy only disciplines his disobedient wife. The director's face darkened. Enough. Bring James back immediately. Seizing my chance, I whispered tremulously. He said not to interrupt his time with Sophia. Michael suddenly kicked me sideways, nearly impaling my eye on steel rods. Keep slandering Sophia and I'll kill you myself. Their relationship is professional. What would a housewife know about factory work? Meeting my brother's venomous glare, I choked out, you're right. Michael. I spoke out of turn. He stormed off to fetch the pair, returning 20 minutes later purple with rage. Without warning, he kicked my abdomen. Worthless bitch. Can't even keep your husband faithful. He slapped me twice. I saw James groping Sophia at the motel. Silence fell. Then Mrs. Smith's feeble denial. My son's honorable. Honorable? Michael kicked the boiler room door. I'll report him for sexual harassment. Their vulgar shouting match escalated until Michael roared, the director's already investigating James' crimes. The sudden silence felt deafening. After several thuds, Mrs. Smith stopped responding. The deputy director struggled to hide his smirk as I pressed my ear to the door. She's not moving, oh God. The director pointed at his subordinate. You've retrieved James by any means necessary. Turning to others, I'm mobilizing troops. If that door won't open, we'll blast it. His icy command made everyone shiver. Lily and James. We're really in deep trouble this time. Soon enough. The Commerce Bureau director who went to borrow a phone returned first, explaining that mobilizing troops from nearby would take time. Next came the deputy director and a few steel mill supervisors. Under everyone's curious gazes, the group began talking over each other. Stop looking back there. James and Sophia locked themselves in the guest house, wouldn't let us in or even answer the door. They kept calling us liars when we said his mother was trapped in the boiler room. Even accused Lily of spreading rumors. The deputy director was so furious he ordered us to break down the door. Guess what James said? Threatened to call the police and have us all arrested. From their indignant tones, I knew James and Sophia must have been vicious. Of course, Sophia had originally planned to trap me in that furnace. Did anyone really expect her to leave me an escape route? The Commerce Bureau director slammed his fist on the table just as the bomb disposal unit arrived. More pounding on doors. More unanswered shouts. After evacuating us to a safe distance, the explosion finally blasted open the door that only James had the key to. Tears streaming down my face. I pushed through the crowd into the still, smoldering boiler room, collapsing onto Mrs. Smith's scorched body. Mom, please say something. But her blistered eyelids remained shut. Her lungs filled with nothing but superheated air. My wails over the old woman's corpse soon had even the hardened director and the factory's outstanding female worker wiping their eyes. The biological son abandons his mother, while the abused daughter-in-law shows such devotion. Someone muttered. Lily's exactly the model citizen we should promote, caring for her mother-in-law despite the husband's affair. Another agreed. Comrade Lily. Don't exhaust yourself. Let's prepare the funeral arrangements. They carried me home as I pretended to sob uncontrollably. The women's committee chair stayed to help with funeral preparations while the men sat staring at the black coffin. We deliberately left the lid unsealed for James to pay final respects. That's when the front door exploded off its hinges. James stormed in with Sophia clinging to him, his face purpling at the funeral display. He struck me twice across the face. You lunatic! Who are you mourning in broad daylight? Sophia peeked from his embrace, quickly averting her eyes. Sister Lily. James just took me to handle factory business. If you resent me, I'll quit. But this vulgar funeral spectacle, are you cursing us? James yanked my hair, slamming my head toward the coffin. You want death so badly? I'll oblige. Behind him, Sophia's lips twitched upward until steel-toed boots sent both sprawling. James. Open your damned eyes, this is your mother's funeral. Blood poured from my scalp as I staggered between the men. Don't hurt him. He doesn't understand. Sophia shoved me. Stop pretending to be noble. You planned this whole show to smear us. Her tears flowed on cue. We were just buying supplies in town. If my presence offends you. She turned to flee. But James caught her arm. Spittle flying at me. Why'd I marry this jealous shrew? Sophia's reputation matters. Since when can't factories have female staff? His kick sent the coffin crashing down. Mrs. Smith's mummified corpse rolling across the floor. The stench of decay filled the courtyard as 20 witnesses froze in horror. Lily screamed and buried herself in James's arms. Lily. You know I'm easily scared. Why dress a scarecrow in Mrs. Smith's clothes to frighten me? James. You have to stand up for me. James glanced at the scene and nearly exploded. Lily. Are you cursing my own mother to die early? He kicked the dummy viciously. Teeth clenched. Everyone here witnessed it. This jealous witch, as my wife, slandered me and Sophia out of spite. She used my mother's clothes to fake a corpse, wishing her dead. Such venomous disrespect, I'm divorcing this vile woman. He ranted furiously, spittle flying from his lips, expecting applause. Only silence answered, until the Commerce Bureau director slapped him. James. You blind fool. The factory director who'd risen through my family's support had never endured such humiliation. He raised his fist. Then froze, recognizing the official. Director, what brings you here? He glared at me. Lily. How dare you involve the director in family matters? Apologies. Director. James fawned. My wife's incompetent and jealous of female staff, mere misunderstandings. She'll apologize immediately. Sophia. Leave now. Sophia tried slipping away but found herself blocked by the Women's Committee head, an outstanding female worker. Her pleading eyes met James's. But he was too busy groveling. Director. Let me arrange a banquet. Enough. The director's face darkened. Impressive. James. Your mother lies dying in the boiler room while you screw the accountant at the town inn. Your wife manages the funeral. Yet you desecrate your mother's coffin and publicly disgrace her corpse. Had I not come? I'd miss this spectacular show. James's obsequious expression froze. Lips trembling. Director. These are her lies. The deputy director seized James by the neck, slamming him face first before the corpse. Open your damned eyes. James scrambled back screaming after seeing his mother's lifeless face. What happened? I only left this morning. Lily. You scheming bitch. The deputy director yanked him up by the collar. Lily stayed guarding the boiler room with us. You refused us the keys. Killing your own mother. James whirled on Sophia. Aghast. Sophia. You said Lily was jealous of us being together. You stopped me from opening the door. Sophia panicked. It's Lily's fault. She bullied me daily. Using her position. James slapped her hard enough to dislodge 2 teeth. Why hit me? Sophia wailed. I didn't make her go to the boiler room. Blind with rage. James pummeled her. They just needed the keys. You couldn't even do that. Even if I didn't come back. They could have used the keys to save Mrs. Smith. This is all your fault. Sophia wailed under the beating. Utterly confused about how things had spiraled out of control. I stood frozen. My mind crystal clear, now I understood everything. Last night. Sophia had claimed she'd left her gold bracelet in the boiler room and asked me to retrieve it. Sensing her trap. I'd refused. This morning. Mrs. Smith, who never visited the steel mill, ended up locked inside. She must have eavesdropped on our conversation. Hoping to profit secretly. Instead. She'd gambled away her life. But knowing the truth now. Who actually locked the door? James and Sophia had been together all morning. Sophia couldn't have slipped back from town unnoticed to lock the gates, someone else must have helped her. My gaze swept the crowd. Hunting for the accomplice. Oblivious. Sophia kept deflecting blame onto me. James. Stop. Think, if Lily knew your mother was trapped. Why didn't she come for the keys herself? She's guilty. James snarled at me. Lily. You dared harm my mother? That bitch Sophia almost made me believe your act. The crowd's eyes burned into me. Lily did this? Don't listen to Sophia. Lily was hysterical earlier, no way she's involved. Look at her bruises, she couldn't fetch keys even if she wanted. Sophia's framing her. My performance had worked. To everyone. I remained the victim. Sophia watched James desperately as he kicked her abdomen. This mess is yours. You dragged me to town, my mother's death is on you. The mill workers sneered as Sophia writhed. Ignored. She scanned the crowd and spotted Michael. Michael. Help. He'll kill me. I studied my brother. Usually. He'd defend Sophia, his obsession, and blame me for every scheme. But today was different. Michael had seen Sophia enter the guest house with James earlier. You deserve this. He said coldly. Sophia gaped. Michael. You swore you'd do anything for me. Michael laughed. Everyone knows you're James's tramp now. Why help trash? Sophia paled. No, we were just discussing. Liar. I saw everything. The crowd erupted in scorn. Sophia scratched my hand borrowing tools, always scheming. Fake sweetness. Fake brothers, only Michael fell for it. Michael stole Lily's job to make Sophia our accountant, she's unqualified. The Commerce Bureau director glared at James. Fine leadership you've shown. Humiliated. James slapped me, his last resort. If it weren't for you, none of this would have happened. Lily snapped as James once again directed accusations at me, immediately gaining support from others. As James' wife, you deliberately sent your own mother-in-law to that dangerous boiler room. You've got ice in your veins. Lily, you schemed to kill Mrs. Smith. James, she not only killed your mother but tried to frame us both. Open your eyes to how vicious this woman is. Sophia wailed, her face streaked with tears. James' gaze shifted uncertainly between me and the sobbing woman. My attention turned to Michael standing rigidly nearby. Sophia, I'm curious too. Mrs. Smith never went near the steel mill. Why would she end up locked in that death trap today? Sophia's hysterical crying intensified. You made her go. Who else could have gotten near her? My eyes dropped to the blood pooling around Sophia's feet. Sophia, you're miscarrying. Michael's face darkened like thunderclouds. His hand closed around Sophia's throat. You swore you'd remain pure for me. That we'd marry after I handled your last request. Yet here you are, pregnant. The color drained from Sophia's face as realization struck. James turned even paler. Sophia, why didn't you tell me? Their affair paled compared to the scandal of an illegitimate child in our community. The crowd erupted as witnesses to James kicking his pregnant mistress. James, have you forgotten the Johnson family made you plant manager? You abuse Lily and impregnate this tramp? You're lower than a rabid dog. James met my gaze. Fleeting guilt in his eyes. My nails bit into my palms. My parents, decorated veterans, had secured his promotion before their deaths. Then Sophia arrived. After falling for her, James found fault in everything I did, my lack of charm compared to her thoughtfulness. Initially discreet, they grew brazen. Any tear from Sophia meant bruises for me. Last lifetime, I endured, believing a wife's duty was obedience. No more. James, these witnesses saw your adultery. I want a divorce. His jaw dropped at hearing those words from his dutiful wife. I continued coldly. As for Mrs. Smith's death, Sophia ordered me to retrieve her lost gold bracelet from the boiler room. Threatened you'd beat me if I refused. Your mother overheard and went herself. Sophia meant to kill me. Sophia's head snapped up. Venom in her glare. Lies. Where's your proof? I turned to the watching deputy director. The deputy director heard everything when Sophia gave those orders. Sophia spluttered denials as all eyes turned to the deputy director. That's correct. He confirmed solemnly. I witnessed it. The crowd buzzed. Sophia planned to burn Lily alive. Mrs. Smith's greed saved her. No wonder they wouldn't share keys. Sophia wanted to become plant widow. Sophia gaped fish-like. Speechless. The deputy director hadn't heard anything, but with James disgraced, he'd take the manager position. Now he anchored his fate to mine. James seized Sophia's collar, raining blows as she choked out incoherent excuses. The truth buried beneath fists and ambition. At this point, both of them were utterly ruined. No matter what Sophia said, James kept beating her relentlessly. Sophia coughed up blood, gasping for breath. James, stop. I was trying to trick her. I just wanted to teach her a lesson so she'd leave you. That woman deliberately trapped your mother in the boiler room. She's the real murderer. James froze mid-punch, bloodshot eyes locking onto me. Lily, explain this. I shrugged. I couldn't explain. But now I knew who'd locked that door, my own brother. Michael. I stared him down. You said you'd do one last thing for Sophia to make her accept you. What was it? Under everyone's scrutiny, Michael clenched his jaw. Sophia screamed through bloody lips. Michael, don't you dare. I never told you anything. The baby's gone now, marry me and I'll say yes right now. James slammed her head against the pavement. Looking for replacements before I'm cold. Sophia? Classy. Sophia's gurgling scream sent crows scattering. I turned back to Michael. Brother. Remember what Mom and Dad said? They told you to protect me. He collapsed, sobbing while slapping his own face. I'm trash. That bitch Sophia tricked me. She promised to be with me if I locked the boiler room. All eyes turned to Sophia, now ghostly pale. Lies. The Johnson siblings framed me. James. They murdered your mother. James's voice turned arctic. Lily's my wife. Michael hates her guts. If this weren't true, he'd never back her up. You tried to kill Lily but got Mom instead. Still lying? His fist smashed Sophia's skull with a sickening crunch. Her final scream died as crows took flight. Workers rushed over. Sophia had stopped breathing. James stared at his bloodied hands, pleading. Lily. She fooled me with her innocent act. I never thought she'd plot to kill you. I'll make it up to you. I swear. I stepped back. James. You just committed murder in public. You won't get any chances. Tears streamed down my face as I lied. After all you've done for her? I'll never forgive you. His eyes widened. I don't love her anymore. She's a con artist. Can't you give me one chance? The Commerce Bureau director signaled officers to restrain him. You're out of chances. James. After they dragged James away, Michael approached me. Lily, these years. I cut him off coldly. Michael? You almost made me the one who died. I gave up my chance to go to school for you. When we grew up, I gave you most of our parents' inheritance. And how did you repay me? My voice trembled. You took that woman's side. Constantly picking fights. Hitting me. Even trying to kill me with your own hands. I don't have a brother like you. Michael's tears fell instantly. It wasn't my choice. Lily. Sophia manipulated me. He pleaded desperately. We're blood relatives. How can you be so heartless? I remained silent. Where was this brotherly love when he conspired with Sophia to ruin me? Mrs. Smith's funeral ended abruptly after one day. Yet no one criticized my arrangements. Soon James's verdict came, dismissal and death sentence. After his imprisonment, the deputy director took over and delivered compensation from the factory, letting me keep my former residence. Through feigned tears, I reclaimed my cashier position that they'd schemed to give Sophia. Michael kept coming to apologize, but I slammed the door every time. Eventually he left a farewell letter saying he couldn't face me. Disappearing southward, I theatrically wept while reclaiming my parents' property. Perfecting my tragic widow persona. The factory workers would sigh seeing me, poor woman whose husband got executed and brother abandoned her. They stopped assigning me actual work but kept my salary intact, even delivering holiday gifts to my doorstep. No one suspected this was exactly the life I wanted. No one realized my revenge was complete.